Yeah, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today I'm going to be talking about Illari, most recent support I believe they've added to the game. Yep. And yeah, so Illari is a pretty straightforward hero. She's basically McCree, but with a little turret thing that you can throw on walls that heals people. It has quite a lot of range, and then your left shift is Ash's thing, except it is a circle around you. Ash is a shotgun blast in one direction. This one's a circle around you, boops people, does, decent amount of damage, like 10 or something. I think it does more the closer in they are or something like that, but you can be used to kind of get away. You can also be used to get up high. If you hold space, you can use it to go up. But mainly, you basically throw down this healing pylon. It'll heal things from quite a distance away. It can be very hard to contest a lot of the time. Helps you kind of bunker down, and then while that's sitting there, you just like kind of shoot away like your McCree. You do like 10 less damage than McCree or something like that. Like I think he does 140 on headshot, you do like 130. He does like 75, 80 to body, and you do 10 less than that, right? So instead of 3-shotting to the body, I guess you can 3-shot to the body with this character. But it's a little bit less than McCree, if I remember correctly. Like there's like a main threshold that is for Tracer, right? Headshot melee does not kill Tracer with Illari. If I go McCree, that same thing will be a one-shot. Boom. Alright. So that's like the minor difference in damage, but you're basically McCree with, like, I guess 25 extra health because he's 225. A better mobility option, and a pylon. It's called a pylon. It's a healing little turret that you can throw up on walls, throw on the floor, throw on the ceiling, that will heal people from a distance. And your right click also can heal people. It's like a last second burst option, as a Moira type resource meter, and you can combine the two together to get some crazy heals on people. Alright, so if I swap these to rocket bots so it actually does more damage, I can kind of show off that real quick. You can see, just completely heal both these guys through it, and then I have to let it recharge. Completely heal these guys through it. But if you let it run all the way out, it takes a little bit longer to recharge. You can't just use it all willy-nilly. You can see like it's denied until the end, and that would be, the case of my teammates dying. You also have the same type of damage fall-off as McCree. I mean, this is literally just McCree with a turret that heals people for you. I forgot exactly how it targets people. I think it's based on the remaining health left first, and then closeness if it's tied. Not 100% sure on that, don't quote me on that. And your ultimate is a little nuke, right? You shoot it down. It has a pretty big splash radius. It'll slow people that get hit with it, and if you damage them a certain amount, they'll blow up and hit people around them and do damage to them, which can cause a cool chain reaction and kill a lot of people. But it can also be blocked by shields and stuff like that, and it can be cleansed by characters like Kiriko, so you have to be a bit careful with its use. The pylon itself has 100 health, which means it dies to 1 Ryan Fire Strike, 2 Winston right clicks, and then just a lot of things. It's enough health where it'll survive 1 random hit from a character, like a single shot from McCree won't kill it, but if you shoots it twice, it's gone. Every other character is like some type of way to kind of break it. Didn't used to be that way. On launch, she had a little bit too much health on it, but now it's pretty reasonable to destroy. While I was sitting here waiting, I kind of forgot to mention, unlike McCree, who kind of has to wait for his shot before shooting again, Illari can shoot in between, but it does greatly reduce damage, right? So when a full body shot does this much, if you do a quick shot right at the end, you can see it takes 3 quick shots to equal 1 charge shot. So generally let your stuff charge up, but if you realize after you hit someone that they're extremely low on health, you can definitely use that to kind of help finish them off. But yeah, my overall thoughts on Illari are pretty straightforward. I think in Overwatch 1, she would have been incredibly broken and would have had to been looked at for a rework. But in Overwatch 2, with how much support's been power crept, she's actually pretty perfectly balanced as far as things go. I mean, like I said, she's basically a slightly weaker McCree with a turret that heals people, so you can focus, on damaging while getting your heals across. Unlike Zen, who has a guaranteed access to constant heals through your healing orbs, she's requiring a more stationary healing pylon generally, or this little extra resource meter. And when this breaks, it goes in like a 14-second cooldown, which means for 14 seconds, you just have the quick burst heals that you don't have a lot of as a resource, which is mainly used to heal your tanks. But it means that Illari does not work very well with dive at all. She kind of requires a more stationary comp to flourish, and without that, she falls apart very, very fast. I do this. Not work like I thought it would, and I'm dead. Right, 200 health isn't, that's the standard health. You died standard amount. Your mobility, while it's great for getting you to high places or kind of pushing people away as you try to walk out, it isn't like insanely high mobility. It's not no mobility like Ana and Zenyatta, but it's not so much mobility that it's, you know, it makes her like a mobility character, which is also worth noting. But yeah, overall, she's basically an alternate form of Zenyatta. The fact that your heals cannot be available to you if somebody breaks your pylon, the fact that you have to set it up in the first place, I mean, you saw how quick the Doom kind of just focused it down, makes her a lot more balanced. And the fact that the pylon is a second of kind of time before it's actually, you know, deployed, also really notable. You can see it wasn't healing me while that soldier shot me. It was about to start healing me. You can use it to self-sustain a little bit, but it also doesn't heal so much or at such a fast rate that it's impossible to kill people while it's active. You should definitely focus it down. It's very hard to kill while it's active, especially combined with the normal heals. But the fact that if you're going to use the burst heals, you can't be damaging, and that if you want to damage, you need that pylon. Actually a pretty good balancing thing, but on certain maps where you can bunker down very easily, it can feel very, very oppressive. There are some very goofy spots on a lot of maps, actually including this one, where that little roof where I tried throwing it up on, where it kind of didn't work, like right up there on the right of the payload, there's like a little slot you can put it in, so it'll heal everybody on defense without being contestable without going all the way around and trying to contest it that way. You can see, you can put it somewhere like that, very hard to contest without them going pretty deep into our team and focusing it down deliberately. At the same time, it's not like it's going to make me immortal through a damage boosted visor. It does mean I can kind of peek it a little. You can see, you know, even peeking it, I'm going to heal a little bit that way. Not like I was immortal during that. That I didn't have to worry about the visor, which is good. It used to not have that. It used to have a lot more problematic healing numbers and was very, very goofy. But yeah. That's kind of my thoughts on the hero. I think they're pretty well balanced. I think they're kind of fine as is. I do think there's some spots on maps that maybe still need patching out, but the thing is the devs actually patch out. Whenever there's an Illari pylon spot that's a little too ridiculous, they generally patch it out, except the one here, where I didn't show it off, but those slots right there, you can put it in that slot, so it'll heal up here, it'll heal down here, but without going around this corner and then looking up into that slot, you basically can't do shit about it on attack. Right, something like that, except you can actually make it completely sideways and deeper in there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, she's got like a few different tools at her disposal, but she's none of them are kind of too oppressive, especially compared to a lot of the other supports like Baptiste. Right, she's definitely one of the lesser problematic supports at the moment. Wasn't true on launch, but a lot of characters are broken on launch, especially now in Overwatch 2. A majority of characters on launch are just ridiculous, to be frank. You can see the ult also isn't like guaranteed value, kind of fucked that up. Also forgot to mention that during the ult you can fly around like your Sigma, which I guess is worth noting. Yeah, she feels solid to play. She's very nice for DPS players especially, because you basically almost have like a Torb turret that does healing, while you yourself just get to play, you know, your favorite DPS role, which I think I'm a big fan of. I like characters that kind of combine multiple roles into one, because they're very approachable. Right, it just, you know, it's nice. It's nice when a DPS player feels like they can play support, because there's characters like Illari that kind of enable them to give the role a shot without dedicating a bunch of time to support specifically, with characters like Lucio and Mercy not exactly having a lot of overlap. Yeah. That's genuinely all I have to say in terms of balance. She feels fine to play against on most maps when there's not a super oppressive and broken spot at hand, which generally there isn't. Like I said, the devs have made multiple patches to get rid of goofy spots that are like completely uncontestable, which is great. And her damage is, you know, just under McCree's, which I think is fine. Right, I think Zenyatta actually has more damage than most DPS, and he's always been kind of in a fine spot, I feel like, in this game. So Illari being a little bit under the threshold of the existing DPS kind of makes him fine for me. I think that's perfectly okay. Also, the fact that her shots have to kind of charge up lets you know when you have downtime to kind of peek her or damage her a bit more. And the fact that, you know, when you break the pylon, you see there's a 14-second cooldown, like I've mentioned multiple times, it's good drawbacks. There's good drawbacks on the character. Illari really feels at home now. Especially now that one Rhine Fire Strike breaks the pylon, it's perfectly fine. Before, though, it was a bit concerning. There was a long period of time where one Reinhardt Fire Strike was not enough to break the pylon, and since it had a shield, you would often need 2 or 3 from Reinhardt to break it, which is a problem. With an ability, with like any type of turret, you need everybody to have the opportunity to break it. Anything automated like that should have something that everyone can do. So changing the damage numbers in the way they did it to make it so everybody kind of has an option for dealing with that stuff was good change, and it made the character a lot more fair. Made it a lot more, you know, fun to play against, a lot more fair to play against as well. But yeah, at this point I have nothing to say really. Like I've talked about every little ability this character has, talked about how it feels to play as and against them. I haven't talked about, I guess, how it feels to play with them. Generally, they have a solid amount of heals, solid amount of damage, and pretty solid to play with this character on your team. It's not like someone's throwing by playing this character. You generally get a solid amount of heals, especially because the pylon does a lot of the healing for you. You do have to be a bit conscious as to where it's placed, but as long as you're conscious about that, you'll be fine. I also just realized I missed both of my ults. This character is actually kind of impressive. They weren't even blocked or anything, I just suck. That's my bad. Can I do this? Is that intelligent? That's not intelligent. I can see that. Yeah, I also like that there's like unique pylon spots kind of with the characters, and especially that Blizzard has been taking a look at patching out ones that are too broken. There's a lot of characters like this. Blizzard like never really touches the maps and rebalances them. Right, for Torbjorn, for example, unless the spot's particularly broken, they don't touch it for him. But they've had to, I think, change a few spots on some maps because of characters like Torbjorn or Widowmaker who could stand there and it could be really abusive. And it's great that they do that for Illari and kind of keep her balance. But yeah, this game should probably end soon. I guess we have enough ults to maybe win this last fight. I was gonna say, I don't have a lot of belief that we'll win this last fight. You can see my damage is a bit low, but that's mainly from my end, you know, not hitting enough headshots, not positioning in ways to maximize my damage more. You can also see my healing is perfectly adequate, right? It's alongside the others, and it's perfectly good. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.